If you've ever caught a glimpse of MMA, mixed martial arts, whether on TV, online, or through friends, you might have had that wild thought. Do these fighters actually fight to the death? After all, it looks brutal, raw, and savage. People getting slammed, punched, choked, sometimes bleeding profusely. It's like a modern gladiator arena. So is MMA some kind of death match where the loser pays with their life? Or is that just a myth blown out of proportion by movies and hype? Let me be clear right from the start. No, MMA fighters do not fight to the death. That's a dangerous misconception that can seriously mislead people about what this sport really is. But since it's such a common question, let's break down the truth, the myths, and what MMA really means beneath all the blood and bruises. MMA is a sport, a competitive athletic contest with strict rules, regulations, and referees whose job is to protect the fighters. Unlike some underground or no-holds-barred street fights where anything goes, professional MMA is governed by athletic commissions in many countries, especially in places like the United States, Brazil, Japan, and Europe. These commissions set clear rules about what fighters can and cannot do, including banned moves, fight duration, weight classes, and medical checks. The biggest proof that MMA isn't about killing each other. Every fight has a referee who stops the match immediately if a fighter can't defend themselves, or if the risk of serious injury becomes too high. Fighters also have corner teams who can throw in the towel at any time if they feel their fighter is in danger. Plus, ringside doctors are always ready to step in and stop the fight if needed. There's no glory in seeing someone seriously hurt or worse. Let's be honest, MMA looks brutal. It's intense, bloody, and can be downright terrifying to watch if you're not used to it. This visual intensity is what fuels the myth that fighters are battling to the death. Add to that the dramatic build-up, the crowd hype, the trash talk, and the fierce warrior mentality, and suddenly it feels like some life-or-death gladiator battle. Movies and pop culture don't help either. Films like Fight Club or Bloodsport paint these underground fights as savage, lawless bloodbaths where the stakes are life and death. While entertaining, they're not an accurate representation of modern professional MMA. Another reason for the myth is the rare but tragic incidents where fighters have suffered serious injuries or even died. These cases, thankfully, are extremely rare and usually involve complications or pre-existing conditions. But when something tragic happens, it grabs headlines and reinforces the deadly reputation of the sport, even though it's an exception, not the rule. MMA fighters step into the cage for many reasons, but death is never one of them. Here's what really drives them: competition and glory. Fighters want to prove they're the best, to test their skills, strength, and willpower against top opponents. Respect and honor. Many fighters come from backgrounds where martial arts is about discipline, respect, and self-improvement, not violence for violence's sake. Career and livelihood. For most pros, MMA is a career. They train for years, endure pain and sacrifice, and fight to earn a living. Personal growth. Beyond physical combat, fighters push themselves mentally and emotionally, building confidence, resilience, and focus. Fighting in MMA is a calculated risk. Fighters know what they're getting into, and they accept the dangers, but it's about survival, skill, and victory, not dying in the ring. It might surprise you how much goes into protecting fighters. Medical clearances. Before even stepping into the cage, fighters undergo rigorous medical exams to make sure they're fit to compete. Weight classes. To ensure fairness and reduce mismatches, fighters compete against others in similar weight ranges. Rules against dangerous moves. Strikes to the back of the head, eye gouging, biting, groin attacks, and other brutal tactics are banned. Round limits. Fights are split into rounds with breaks, so fighters get moments to recover. Referee authority. The ref can stop the fight immediately if a fighter is unable to defend themselves or is taking excessive damage. Post-fight medical care. Fighters receive medical evaluations right after their bouts, and sometimes mandatory suspensions to recover from injuries. These rules and measures exist to prevent catastrophic injury and keep fighters as safe as possible, while still allowing fierce competition. No sport is completely risk-free. MMA is physically demanding and can be dangerous. There have been cases where fighters have suffered concussions, broken bones, or serious injuries, and very rarely tragic fatalities. But these cases are exceptions, not the norm. The MMA community constantly learns from such incidents to improve safety protocols and medical oversight. The sport's governing bodies work to minimize risk and protect fighters better every year. MMA is not a fight to the death. It's a competitive, highly regulated sport where fighters test their skills in a controlled environment. The myth of life or death combat is fueled by the sport's brutal appearance, rare tragedies, and Hollywood dramatizations, but it's far from the truth. If you respect the sport and the athletes, understand this. MMA fighters are warriors in a battle of skill, heart, and strategy, not soldiers fighting for survival in a savage death match. They risk a lot, yes, but they also have protections and rules that make this intense sport as safe as possible. The next time you watch an MMA fight, appreciate the skill, dedication, and discipline behind every punch and takedown, not the sensational myth of fighting to the death. Want to know more about the real stories behind MMA? Just ask. I've got the facts, the drama, and everything in between.